This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there, Chef Coda, and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, on February 28th, E-I-E-I-O, there was a baseball scandal. E-I-E-I-O, with cocaine here and cocaine there, 11 players being hurt, and even a mascot, Pittsburgh drug trials on February 28th. E-I-E-I-O. So, there was a problem. There was a problem in baseball, and that had to do with drugs in baseball. Not performance enhancing drugs, but basically cocaine. Basically, the Major League Baseball was really upset with all this stuff. All that. So basically, things happened. So anyway, at the Pittsburgh drug trials, all baseball players who were actually all baseball players who were doing these drugs stuff was basically granted immunity in exchange for their testimony. Former Pirate John Milner talked about getting amphetamines from Willie Mays and Willie Stargell. Basically, amphetamines would be the little green pills that some airplane pilots took in World War II to make sure they didn't go down in the plane. Milner bought 2 grams of cocaine, he said, for $200 in the bathroom stalls at Three River Stadium during a Pirates game in 1980. Chief Hernandez said he had used cocaine for 3 years and figured that 40% of all baseball players were using cocaine at some point in the early 80s. But he did backtrack, saying that he may be wrong. Tim Raines even admitted to having a gram of cocaine in his uniform pocket and revealed he snorted during games, and that he only slid into bases head first, not because it was a great move by a stolen base star, but to not break his fail and all that. Testimony also said that Rod Scurry left the stadium once to go looking for cocaine during late innings of the Pirates game. Drug dealers frequented the Pirates clubhouse. Even the mascot, the pirate parrot, Kevin Cox said he was buying cocaine and introduced ball players to a local drug dealer. So yeah, basically all that. So basically, the trials, the main dealer, Curtis Strong, who was the Phillies clubhouse caterer, and 6 Pittsburgh men were convicted and found guilty of 11 counts of distributing cocaine by the district court in Pennsylvania. Curtis Strong was convicted and received a 12-year prison sentence, but got released after 4. Not good. Dale Schiffman got sentenced to 12 years, but only served 2 years. One guy pled guilty to 7 criminal counts, but we don't know how long he spent in prison. One guy for 18 months, another guy for 2.5 years, one guy for 18 months of prison, and all that. But on February 28, 1986, Peter Ueberroth handed out suspensions to 11 players. It's supposed to be for 1 year, but the suspensions were commuted in exchange for fines and community service. And Ueberroth asked each suspended player to submit to urine tests, but the Players Association afforded that plea. I don't know why. Now, Peter Ueberroth was known for bringing a perfectly good LA campaign for the Olympics in 1984, so that was weird. So anyway, 7 players who were determined to be prolonged drug users were suspended for a full season. The players were allowed to continue playing under the condition that they donated their salaries to drug abuse programs, submitted to random drug testing, and contributed to community service. Kind of stupid, don't you think? So anyway, the people who were basically suspended, who should have been suspended for a full season, were Joaquin Anujar, who basically faced his own trouble because in Game 7 of the '85 World Series, he bumped the umpire and basically was going to serve a suspension anyway. Anujar's career would not do well. Dale Berra, Yogi's son, who basically made him embarrass the Berra name and all that, but he wasn't really even that good. Enos Cabell, who was kind of decent. Keith Hernandez. If Keith Hernandez was suspended for the full season, I think the Mets probably would have faltered because I don't think they really had much of a bench or a replacement for Keith Hernandez. Maybe Lee Maselli, but I don't think Maselli was a first baseman. Basically, Keith Hernandez would be thankful not to be suspended because he helped the 86 Mets win the World Series. Jeffrey Leonard, who was a very good flashing outfielder for the Giants. Basically, in 1987, he would be known for his one flat down home run trot. Dave Parker, who was basically getting near the end of his career, and was a Pittsburgh mainstay. I wonder how the drug trials affected him in Pittsburgh's eyes. And Lonnie Smith, who basically was a speedster hitter for the St. Louis Cardinals, who will always be known for hitting that grand slam in Game 5 of the World Series in Toronto for the Braves to make sure the Jays didn't clinch the 93 title on home turf. 4 players were suspended for 60 days, but they were allowed to continue playing if they donated 5% of the salary and contributed to drug-related community service. Al Holland, who really wasn't that good. I know he was the Phillies closer in 83. Lee Lacy, Larry Sorensen, and Claudette Washington. I believe that would be not the last time Claudette Washington would face problems. There were other players who were named but were not punished, but they had to have random drug testing for their careers. Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker? Really? That guy? More for his overmanaging. That doesn't get him a World Series title than anything else? Wow. Vida Blue. Okay, but I think he retired after that. Gary Matthews Sr., former Cubs star of the 84 LCS. Dickie Knowles. He wasn't really that good. Tim Raines. Well, Tim Raines did say that it was a wake-up call. He basically quit cold turkey, and he did pretty well for himself. He was drug-free the rest of his career. Manny Saramentano, the catcher for the Pirates. Daryl Sconiers, Rod Scurry, Daryl Thomas, and Alan Wiggins. The aftermath was huge. A year and a half after the verdicts, Commissioner Ubroff said that baseball would be free of drugs. Lonnie Smith told the Kansas City Times that he was supposed to be drug tested 6 to 8 times a year, but he wasn't really tested in 87. And as I said, Dave Parker, Keith Hernandez, and Lonnie Smith would actually rejuvenate their careers, even though there was a big scandal. Parker signed with Cincy and actually got to 3 All-Star games. It was part of Oakland. Well, yeah, he was part of Oakland's squad in 89. Keith Hernandez recovered, and Lonnie Smith signed with Atlanta and got named Comeback Player of the Year. Unfortunately, 4 of the players would struggle with substance abuse after that. Rod Scurry died of a cocaine-related heart attack at age 36. Willie Aikens was convicted in 94 of selling crack cocaine and got 20 years in prison. And he was released June 2008. Larry Sorensen was sentenced to 2 years in prison for his 6th drunk driving conviction. And Alan Wiggins died in 91 after contracting HIV through intravenous drug use. So yeah, so you think drugs are cool and all that? They're not. Ubroff did what he could, but he should have given them like massive suspensions, and made the suspension stick and all that. The 86 Mets will thank you, Ubroff, for that, because I think they would not have won the World Series if Hernandez was out for the whole year. So anyway, Ubroff was fine, but then another baseball struggle with steroids would take this cocaine thing and turn it up to 11. So anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adu.